Hi there, my name is Paul Keeley. I'm an Operations Manager MVP and I'm a Principal Consultant for Informed Consulting Group. What I'm going to show you in this demonstration is I'm going to show you the Dynamic Data Center Toolkit, how it works and what it does. This toolkit is kind of what a lot of us have been looking for and talking about for a long time with System Center. And essentially what it is a single-click deployment to deploy a VM, get it into your environment, onto a good Hyper-V host, put Operations Manager on it, put Config Manager on it, be able to manage it completely end-to-end from the System Center suite and just from a single click. So if you imagine this, a user in your environment who knows nothing about computers be able to put in a computer name, bang, you get a VM later. I'm just sitting right here at the start of the portal, and if I just go on to my account, it brings me into, I can provision, I can look at system alerts, I can go to my existing machines. So if I just spin over to my existing machines, and you can see I have a machine here, Demo 1. So you can see Demo 1 is healthy, has no alerts, performance is fine. The updates, maybe you could do, there's one or two critical updates that it could have applied to it. So if I just connect to my machine, you can see, for example, just here on the system properties, that I get some nice information like, its IP address, network name, its SID, what its name is on DNS, what actually site it's in, many processors, does it have a SCOM agent, is it hosted on a Microsoft cluster? Yeah. If I go to software updates, it uses a web connection to connect to Config Manager. It sees that it has Windows 7 and Server 2008 R2 Service Pack 1, but there are a couple of other important and critical updates that this box could have. And if I spin over to Performance Monitoring, it will just fire up the 4 things that you're really interested in on a machine. It's CPU utilization, it's memory utilization, network and disk. And they're just, for the last 24 hours, which you can highlight a single object and, we can, it will spin up large. And when it spins up, we can, instead of saying the 18th, we could say the 17th. And, you get to do quite a bit with it from a simple web counter, and you get to see exactly what you want, There are CPU clock cycles on the box. It's pretty average. It's no massive spike. It's looking exactly the way we want it to look. If I go back to the summary on the box, I get a fantastic remote desktop client into that server. So if I just try and help you get your head around this, you've provisioned the server by putting in a single server name, which I'm going to show you now in a second. It could be hosted anywhere in the world. You know nothing about it. You connect to a web page and you can say, I want a remote desktop onto that box. Now this server for me, I'm currently sitting in Europe, and this server is in a data center in Canada, and the speed that you're saying is just going through a 7 meg DSL connection, nothing fantastic, and it's like it was, the server was in the room beside me. If I just come up here and, as an example, I just go to services and I go to the DNS client as an example, and I just stop it, it's going to stop, obviously. And if I just log off that box, so if, that box right now, I've logged off, stopped the service, so it has a bit of a problem, And what's going to happen now is the SCOM management pack, Windows Server Operating System Management Pack on that box is going to say, hey, look, I've got a problem. My DNS server service has stopped. It's going to fire an alert and it's going to come into the console. So if I go back to, my 360-degree view, as soon as SCOM, look at that, straight in, active alert. So if I just go into my active alerts, it's on demo 01, we have an error, DNS service is stopped. I can go in and get, a little bit more error, what brought it up? Windows Server 2008 or 2 service is stopped. Okay, so I own this server, but I'm, in marketing or sales or something else, and I don't know much about, scam, or I don't know much about server errors, but I can see that something's gone wrong, and I can go to Service Manager and I can, well, I won't have to, the ticket's already there, but I can keep track and keep an eye on what's happening. So here's what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ask for a new server. So I'm going to call this ddc.mp4, and I'm going to say provision. Okay. So as soon as I hit that, that's all I need to do. It just says, look, come back in 30 to 60 minutes and we'll have a server for you. So if I could just show you what is going to happen now is inside Service Manager, a new request is going to be submitted with an ID of 1 to fire us up a new VM. And as soon as that request goes in, an Opalis workflow is monitoring for that event ID, and it's going to ask us, it's going to interpret the request and get working on it. So if I could just show you here, there is an Opalis monitoring workflow that first of all just checks to see, is there a update request with a status of 1? If there is, it's going to see, is it Linux or is it Windows? And if it's a Windows provisioning, it's going to call a Windows provisioning workflow. So if we just jump in here, so here's VM provisioning. And if we just refresh that. So there we are, VM provisioning. There's DDC demo 22, and you can see it has changed its status request to 302. Windows Virtual Machine provisioning setup has started. Okay, so if we spin into Opalis and we go to Windows provisioning and we just have a look at the log, so the log is empty, so there's log history. So if we just fire into that, we can see there was a custom start, it got a relationship, it got the host, got the template, and it updated request 302. So what it has done is, it has found me, it's found the template, it's got the correct VM host to put this on, and it's already started provisioning the VM. So if I go to Virtual Machine Manager, there is Create Virtual Machine, DDC Demo 22. Okay, so you can see DDC Demo 22 has finished provisioning. So what has to happen when it finishes provisioning is a workflow has to run to say check VM provisioning status, and once the machine has provisioned okay, it's going to update it with a status of 310, and once it has updated it, it's going to go and deploy the SCOM agent, and it's going to deploy the SCCM agent. So if I just go back to Service Manager and we just do a little refresh, okay, so you can see here that SCCM agent install has started. So let's just spin into this ticket for a second and go to the history. I mean, the important thing that I'd like to point out about this process is that when you create a VM, so you just put in the name and hit go, everything else is going to be, fully automated. And when through the automation process, you can see that everything gets logged for you in a complete itl process. I mean, for you to do this building machine would be, you just wouldn't do it. You might, I certainly won't. So you can see here, for example, if I just fire up another one here, is SCOM agent. So let's just have a look at what it's done. Is we sent it a whole bunch of requests, which go and provision it, 302, Windows provisioning was successful. And then as we keep going down, you can see Virtual Machine Manager provisioning was successful. SCOM agent install queued. SCOM agent install went in, finished. And then as we keep going down, you can see, for example, SCCM agent was installed and queued, and the SCCM agent is going to be deployed as we speak. If we just go over to Operations Manager for a second, and we just check to see, what's happening with that agent, what you'll see is that Operations Manager has got the agent on the box. So if we just go into, Windows computers, you can see there is ddc.mp4. So you can see that the Windows Operating System Management Pack hasn't gone down to it yet. So we just need to, give it a few minutes for it to run through and, start to load its stuff, and it will come. If we just go back to Service Manager, there is our request. Let's cancel out of that. Let's just sit back into Service Manager, and let's just see if we refresh that. What's happening next? Wow. So, okay. So, DDC demo has got a status of 1000. It's completed. So, let's just go back into that ticket request. Let's just see what it did. So, it did some Service Manager association. It started. It worked completely. So, there's the last bit. Sorry, here's the last bit we were on here. SCCM agent install completed, ready for Service Manager association. So what this is doing is it's telling the portal that the VM that we provisioned and got up and going is is associated with the one that we requested in the portal. So we'll be able to go back and manage it in a second. And then if we just look here, it will just say, last one, Service Manager association completed. You have a new VM. So if I go back into my portal now and I go to my account, you can see active VMs is now 5. And if I just spin into my active VMs, get DDC demo 22, and there's my new machine just being provisioned. There's my performance monitoring on it. I don't know exactly what it will be able to get, considering, it's only up 2 minutes. So if we just give it, a little bit of time, SCOM will run through it, Config Manager will run through it, DPM will run through it, and we'll see, you see right now it just says software updates are green. Sure, we know it is going to need some software updates connected to it. It just needs a little bit of time to kick in. So what you've just seen there is you have seen end-to-end Microsoft Private Cloud through System Center in action. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. We have gone to a portal. We've just put in a server name, and that has created a request into Service Manager. Opalis has picked up that request. It has sent a workflow to Virtual Machine Manager, which has connected to Hyper-V through a template to build a machine. It's put an Operations Manager and Config Manager agent on it, and the whole thing is backed up through DPM. It doesn't get better than that.